We ask commuters what they're reading. Alex Kress, 29, news producer. Book, The Elephant Vanishes by Haruki Murakami. Stop. Union Murakami touches on many familiar themes in his collection of 17 short stories, many of which first appeared in The New Yorker. He's usually describing being in relationships that are kind of stale and longing for something fuller, says Kress, who borrowed the book from a friend over Christmas. Anyone could relate, she added, but his stories would probably appeal most to people in the late 20s or early 30s. Article continued below. Sometimes he describes feeling like you're at a crossroads in life, or maybe unfulfilled in some ways, and that's why he's throwing so much of himself in this search for love, she says, or at least a more scintillating romance than what he has. Andre Biza, 24, software developer. Book, Road Trip Rwanda, A Journey into the New Heart of Africa by Will Ferguson. Stop. Museum. Biza was born in 1993, which means he is too young to remember the news of the Rwandan genocide, which had about 800,000. The same year, Jean-Claude Munyezamu left Rwanda just months before the massacre began. He returned 2 decades later with his friend, the Canadian writer Will Ferguson, to rediscover his native country. Biza says the book opened his eyes to a topic he knew next to nothing about. Ethan Hansel, 26, artist who works in fashion. Book, Revival by Stephen King. Stop. St. Clair West. Anyone who has seen Hansel's bare legs knows he is a big fan of Stephen King. On one thigh, he has a tattoo saying Pennywise, the shape-shifting monster of it. Although he wasn't much of a reader growing up, Hansel says the more than -1,000-page novel gave him a love for books, especially horror. His dad gave him a copy of Revival for Christmas one year. I love his writing style, he says. To have something that can keep me captivated and still touch base on my interests, which are a little bit more dark, I find nice and refreshing. Victor Owen, 23, student. Book, Cavalry That Broke Napoleon, The King's Dragoon Guards at Waterloo by Richard Goldsborough. Stop. Eglinton West. If it weren't for a charge by the King's Dragoon Guards on June 18, 1815, Napoleon's SOLRS may have won the fateful Battle of Waterloo, argues Richard Goldsborough. Owen, who studies history at Ryerson University, says he leans toward military history thanks to his time in the Royal Canadian Army Cadets. He is fascinated by the little details that make the difference between victory and defeat. After reading pages and pages of military history, he's learned that fortune favors the brave in war and life in general. It's better to do it and live with the consequences than not to do it at all.